If you're anything like most designers, you're guilty of making a career out of your fashion portfolio. It becomes this daunting task that takes over your entire life, which is fair because you have to make a good impression on a hiring manager fast. I don't know what the statistic for portfolios is, but the average manager looks at a resume for just 6 seconds, which is why you cannot afford to make any of these 5 deadly fashion portfolio mistakes. They can ruin your chance of getting the job, and in this video, I'm gonna tell you what they are and what you can do instead. I am Heidi, founder of SuccessfulFashionDesigner.com, and I teach designers like you the real-world skills that you need to get ahead in the cutthroat fashion industry. The stuff you don't learn at fashion school. A lot of people don't talk about this stuff, so I like to call it fashion industry secrets revealed. Later in the video, I'm gonna share with you 2 rules you can use no matter what category you design into to make sure your portfolio is exactly what brands want to see. So make sure to watch until the end. All right, let's jump in. 5 fashion portfolio mistakes. Mistake number 1, including designs from every category you can design in. Please do not poop out every design in your portfolio that you know how to design. Footwear, handbags, women's wear, kids wear, men's. It overwhelms the person looking at your portfolio. But what if you can design all those categories? That's great. I'm really proud of you, but here's the thing. Women's wear brands don't want to see kids wear don't want to see men's wear, footwear don't want to see bags. Instead, you want to pick 3 to 5 projects that directly speak to the brands that you're applying to. I call it the portfolio golden rule. This project, collection, or design speaks to the brand, tells them that I understand their market, customer, and aesthetic, and visually shows them that I am the right designer for the job. If you have shoes, showing shoes to a women's wear brand where you're going to be designing sweaters and dresses does not speak to that brand. Remember, a hiring manager looks at a resume for 6 seconds. So you've got 10, 20, maybe 30 seconds to catch their attention with their portfolio. Only show them the projects that make sense and will speak to them. Now, I know what you're probably saying. What if I am desperate for a job and I will take anything? I'm happy to design footwear or kids wear or bags or whatever it is. I get it. You need to create multiple portfolios for that. You should have projects for each category and only share those projects with the brand that are relevant to them. So how do you decide what to include? Well, the 2 fashion portfolio rules that I'm going to share with you at the end of the video will make you know exactly what to leave in and exactly what to take out. Fashion portfolio mistake number 2, loading your portfolio full of beautiful hand illustrations. Here's the thing. Even if you can draw fashion illustrations, I hate to say it, but chances are yours are not gorgeous like the ones that we see all over Instagram from those designers who have hundreds of thousands of followers. No offense. And to be honest, it doesn't really even matter because in 99.9% of fashion jobs, you are not going to be drawing illustrations like this. Which is why for most designers, including fashion illustrations in their portfolio, actually only hurt you because, like I said, no offense, they're probably not that amazing. I know this because I've seen it before, but I've also interviewed hiring managers on my podcast who have told me unless your illustrations are absolutely gorgeous, it's better to leave them out altogether. If yours are genuinely good, then go ahead and put a few of them in there. Now here's where there is one exception. If part of your design process is sketching by hand, now I'm talking about like rough, loose pencil sketches that you do in a notebook, things that you do to sort of brainstorm your ideas, not these finished fashion illustrations. Those are the types of designs that you do want to include in your portfolio. And I'm going to talk about that a little bit later with one of my fashion portfolio rules. If these sketches show part of your design process and how you get to the finished idea, then go ahead and include them. If you don't have them, that's okay too. I'm not a hand sketcher, so I don't have anything done by hand in my portfolio, and that's okay. So what do you want to include in your portfolio instead? The number 1 thing you always want in your portfolio, no matter your skill set, no matter your level, entry level or advanced, is fashion flats done in Adobe Illustrator. They need to have accurate construction details, accurate trims and findings, and be drawn in proportion, like these. Because this is how you will be required to sketch on the job in Illustrator. So make sure to show these amazing Illustrator fashion flats in your portfolio done digitally. Fashion portfolio mistake number 3. This one might be hard for a lot of you to hear, but including school projects in your portfolio is not always the best thing. I interviewed a fashion recruiter on my podcast, and she even told me that the number one thing fashion students put too much emphasis on that they shouldn't is their school projects, their senior collection. There's a few reasons why this is a mistake. First, the design work that you do in fashion school tends to be very artistic and conceptual. In reality, most design jobs, most fashion brands produce everyday clothes for everyday people, and the designs are much more commercial. Because in case you didn't know, all the gorgeous conceptual designs you see on the runway do not make it to market. Runway shows are designed for marketing and publicity and as a way to show off the artistic side of things. But these are not clothes that are actually sold in the market. And no offense to your senior collection or your fashion school projects, but my bet is that they are very conceptual and not very commercial. So what can you do instead? If you have any work from internships, this is great. These are going to be real life projects for real life brands, and show that instead. If you don't have this, that's okay too. Do some self-directed projects, creating designs that are actually commercially viable. Okay, so how do you do that? Well, you're a designer, so this is your job. But if you're new to the industry, I get it. Take a look at some of the brands you want to work for and study the designs that they actually put into the market. What is for sale in their stores? What is for sale on their website? What is for sale in department stores by these brands? And then put together a few piece collection of designs that would actually work for brands like the ones you're interested in. And I'm not just making this stuff up. I know for a fact this works. Another designer who I interviewed on my podcast, Carla, she showed her portfolio to something like 17 or 27 or a ridiculous amount of fashion companies, and she did not land one job. Why? It was full of school projects that were very artsy. So she went back, she did some self-directed projects that were more commercial, and she instantly landed her first job in the industry. Fashion portfolio mistake number 4, showing your hand-sewn designs. No offense, but your hand-sewn designs are probably not expertly sewn, and they probably look homemade. I don't say this to be mean. If I make something, most of the time it looks pretty homemade too. The other thing is that think about what a fashion job entails. You're not gonna be sewing product. You're gonna be designing it on the computer, and you're gonna be sending it to a factory for them to sew. So as much as sewing your designs in fashion school is part of the process, it is not part of the process in the real world. Now, yes, having an understanding of construction and how a garment is put together is important. So what do you do instead? Show that you understand construction and show that you understand details in a garment and how it goes together by creating tech sketches and tech packs to include in your portfolio. These are the documents that are communicated to the factory to show the factory how to make your garment. Remember, they're the ones that are sewing it. So instead of you showing that you know how to sew the garment, show that you know how to communicate to someone else to sew the garment. Fashion portfolio mistake number 5. Most designers fall into one trap or the other. They either show no inspiration at all and they just show the finished product, or they show a boatload of inspiration. Yes, you do need some inspiration, but where you want to be is somewhere right in the middle. You don't need a giant corkboard of collage that shows every idea from every category, from every genre, and every color. I see this a lot from fashion school grads. They show inspiration boards that look like this. And when I see this, I'm not even sure what's going on. There's a lot of color, a lot of design. It's not very clear what the direction for the design or collection is. Instead, include a small collage of inspiration that actually makes sense in relation to the finished collection. Something like this, or this. You see that the style of the designs as well as the color palettes all cohesively work together from the inspiration to the final collection. All right, let's do a quick recap of the 5 fashion portfolio mistakes. 1, showing designs from every category you can design into. Instead, just show designs that speak to the brands you're applying to. Number 2, including fashion illustrations unless they are absolutely exceptional. Instead, include fashion flats with accurate details and construction. 3, showing conceptual senior thesis projects. Instead, show real experience from an internship or self-directed collections that are actually commercially viable. Number 4, including hand-sewn designs. Instead, showcase your technical skills with tech sketches and tech packs. And number 5, showing no inspiration or showing way too much inspiration. Instead, show a small collage of inspiration that speaks to the finished collection. And as I promised, if you're ever unsure about what to leave out or what to include in your fashion portfolio, here are my 2 portfolio rules. If you follow these 2 rules, your portfolio will be exactly what brands want to see, and it will help you land your dream job. Rule number 1, the process portfolio. As I told you earlier, brands don't want to just see the finished design. They want to see the process that you went through as a designer to get to the finished collection. So if it's part of your process, you can include it. Inspiration and magazine tears that sort of drive the collection. Any loose hand sketches or sketchbooks that you have, scan and include a page or 2 from there. Show them where your ideas come from, where you get inspiration, what's your point of view. And you do this by showing them the process that you go through as a designer. Rule number 2, the portfolio golden rule. I already shared this one with you, but this is the litmus test for everything you include in your portfolio. I'll remind you, it goes like this. This project collection design speaks to the brand, tells them that I understand their market, customer, and aesthetic, and visually shows them that I am the right designer for the job. Listen, I know a portfolio is an overwhelming task, and there's a lot of pressure riding on it, which is why I wrote an entire step-by-step guide on how to confidently present your best work, impress hiring managers, and land your dream job with a portfolio you can create in 1 weekend. Check it out right now. It's absolutely free. In the meantime, if you like this video, click the subscribe button and give me a thumbs up. And for more free tips, tutorials, and advice on how to get ahead in fashion, head on over to successfulfashiondesigner.com and sign up for the email list. I share tons of things there that you don't get on YouTube. I'd also love to hear from you. Let me know which of these 5 fashion portfolio mistakes was the most surprising to you. Let me know below by leaving a comment. Oh, mistake. Number 6. Not number 6. The whelming. Cat.